Here's what's happening on 99.3 The Vine.
Well, it is Wellness Wednesday, and we are being joined by Jane Ehrman of imagesofwellness.com. You should really check it out. There's so many great things there. Jane, I'm going to let you tell a little bit about everything people can find on your website. I know we talked a little bit about it last time, but so many great things.
Well, you can learn about the different mind-body practices to help you deal with stress or work through difficult situations with your health and wellness, including anxiety that we're going to talk about today. I have an audio library with 10 different albums that I have authored. It's my voice with amazing music underneath to guide you through things to help you sleep better, to help with stress relief, to help deal with trauma if that's been one of your issues, or to help you just calm yourself down, or deal with pain and injury and recovery, those kinds of things. You can contact me and I can work with you individually on different health issues that you're working on from a behavioral perspective. And I'm also an international speaker. So if you're looking for a speaker on health and wellness and resilience, that's something I do as well.
Fantastic. Well, you mentioned anxiety, and everybody gets anxious from time to time because of stress and worry or traumatic experiences in the past or fear of the unknown or in the fear of the future. I mean, all this stuff. But some people really struggle with feeling anxious like all the time, or they have panic attacks. What is anxiety and how does it develop?
So when you're stressed and worried excessively about something, it results in anxiety. It's a combination of worry, negative overthinking, and being stressed, the physical response that the mind-body builds to a point of anxiety. It's a trifecta: high stress, excessive worry, anxiety. So
perfect
anxiety,
storm.
yes, anxiety can be learned as we grow up. If our caregivers, our loved ones tend to be very anxious, we take our cues from them on how to react. If mommy or daddy or grandma or whoever is taking care of me is all upset and worried and stressed, then I must have something to worry about too. Or the person can develop anxiety from frightening or traumatic experiences of their own. In part, it isn't just about the trauma, it's the person's reaction to the trauma.
Well, we're talking with Jane Ehrman of imagesofwellness.com about anxiety. And, you know, I hear that term all the time. Are there different kinds of anxiety, or is it all just one blanket anxiety?
No, there are different kinds of anxiety. There are 4 main groups: general anxiety, panic disorder, social anxiety, and phobias. Today, we're going to focus on general anxiety and panic.
Well, what is general anxiety, and how can you manage that effectively?
Okay, so as you said, it's normal to feel stress when we're facing a potential danger, like driving in severe weather, or you're on a hike on a trail and you see a snake, or some emotional stress. You're afraid you won't know the answers on an exam, or you're afraid you're going to be late for an important meeting, or you won't interview well for a job. It's when a person is hyper-vigilant, always waiting for that other shoe to drop, that something bad is going to happen. So general anxiety is being stressed and worried about pretty much everything. That negative anticipation and distorted thinking, imagining the worst. So being stressed and worried about things that are in your control and also out of your control. Those what-if thoughts about what to wear today, the traffic, what happens if I'm late, how will I give this report, and I'm worried about this project getting done, and worried about the kids, and on and on and on. So nothing negative is really happening, but your body is in a state of alarm, as though something is happening. It's a false alarm.
Because it could happen.
Right. And your mind can't tell the difference between what could happen and what's really happening. It believes all of it. So your heart rate goes up. There's shallow breathing, or you tend to hold your breath because you're trying to hold the emotion down. Your skin temperature actually goes up and you start to feel a little hot and sweaty. Muscles get tight. The adrenaline starts pumping. You're ready to fight like crazy, run like heck, or freeze.
Fight or flight, huh?
Yes. So how do you stop anxiety?
Right.
Remember, you're overthinking. Get out of your head. It's a bad neighborhood. And get into the present moment. There's a practice of the 3-3-3 rule. So get out of your head and immediately think, what are 3 things that I can see? And then name them. What are 3 things I can hear? And what are 3 things I can touch? This engages you with your senses, brings you back to the present.
Grounds
and that's
you.
important. It grounds you, yes. Feel your feet and your shoes on the ground. Breathe slowly, deeply. Long, comfortable breath in, long, slow, soft exhale from your mouth. When you exhale from your mouth, you're releasing tension better. That helps calm you down, and it gets more oxygen to your brain. We'll talk about that more in a moment. You can say to yourself, in this moment, I'm okay, because you are, because there's nothing bad really happening. Another is exercise. It's hard to be uptight after a good walk or a workout. So that helps your body release the tension and also get rid of the cortisol, the stress hormone. Be careful about how much caffeine and sugar you take in, because that can ramp up your anxiety.
If you're already feeling anxious, adding that jittery coffee reaction doesn't sound good.
So notice when you're stressed and you're starting to worry, and lovingly grab yourself by the back of the shirt and ask yourself, are these thoughts helpful? Is this causing me stress? And if it is something that you're worried about genuinely, that you have some control over, then shift to the possible solutions. Recognize what you can control and what is out of your control.
Oh, that's great information. So I'm talking with Jane Ehrman from imagesofwellness.com. We're talking about anxiety, and I'm curious, Jane, I hear about anxiety and then I hear about panic disorders. And can you describe a panic attack?
Sure.
What exactly is the difference here?
Sure. First of all, a panic disorder is when someone has repeated panic attacks. Okay? Now, here's how a panic attack is. It starts with high stress and worry that suddenly becomes intense. It's an intense fear that your body starts to react to. Nothing bad is happening, but your body goes into a state of alarm as though something bad is happening. Your heart rate goes up. I'm talking, it really goes up. Mm-hmm. You start to shallow breathe. You're not getting full lungs of air. In fact, you feel like you can't quite breathe very well. Your skin temperature goes up. You begin to break into a sweat. Your muscles get tight. That adrenaline is pumping. You might even feel dizzy along with that shortness of breath, shaky or numb, tingly, and you may have some tightness in your chest. I've had a couple of panic attacks, and I thought, am I having a heart attack? I mean, it almost
very
feels
similar
like
as
that.
far as the feeling.
Yeah, but there's a tipping point that's reached in your brain when it doesn't get quite enough oxygen. Your brain needs 20% more oxygen than the rest of your body, and that's what triggers the panic attack. Not enough oxygen to your brain.
So you feel one coming on. What can you do to stop it?
Okay. So bring your attention right away to your breath and slow, deep breathing. Comfortable breaths in, long, soft exhales. Just focus on breathing in and breathing out. Do a little stretching. Stretch your arms and legs and your feet. Kind of release that tension. Get into the present moment. Just be right here, right now, in the moment. Talk to yourself kindly. This is temporary. I'm moving through this. Each slow, deep breath is helping me feel better and calmer. Close your eyes so that you're cutting out all the sensory stuff and just breathe. You want to keep from experiencing that sensory overload. Getting that oxygen back to your brain is key.
All righty. So again, talking about panic attacks and anxiety with Jane Ehrman. Lots of great information here. Are panic attacks, Jane, are they spontaneous? Can they just happen out of the blue, or can something trigger them, or how does this work?
Okay. Many people with panic disorder think that panic attacks are spontaneous, but they are not. Panic attacks are not spontaneous. There's good research that shows what occurs in the body that leads to an unexpected panic attack. And let's call it that. It's unexpected.
Right.
And these could be that the patients, what they did in this research was they wired those patients to measure specific changes in the body: heart rate, respirations, skin temperature, and the level of oxygen to the brain, a pulse ox. The results showed that about an hour before the panic attack occurs, breathing becomes shallower. The skin temperature starts to rise and heart rate increases. They may not be aware of it on a conscious level, yet all these changes build to the point of triggering a panic attack. And this is important to understand because it could be that something in the situation or the environment triggers an old memory of trauma, but sometimes it's just that buildup because you're not even aware, you're thinking about something that could cause a problem with anxiety.
So all those things that we've been talking about that happened during one, they actually kind of start about an hour before?
Yes. And
Wow.
it builds. And so,
Like in an earthquake, when they start to see the rumbling on the machines before it
that's
actually
one way to look
happens.
at it. Yeah. Here it comes. Yeah.
So many people take medication to reduce or stop anxiety. I know people in my life that are doing this. I know it's out there. Are there effective treatments besides medication for anxiety?
Yes, there are. And it's important to understand some people need to take medication, and that's what you need it.
Right.
But medication treats the symptoms. It doesn't get to the cause. And so the work I do with clients is help them get to the cause and resolve that issue. Change the perception. Get rid of the energy that's connected to it so that it is less and less of a trigger. There is good research that shows that they, again, aren't spontaneous. And practicing slow, deep breathing several times a day actually breaks that cycle of panic attacks. And I'm talking, we call it a 4x4 breath. A slow, deep breath, long, soft exhale that's almost twice as long, a normal breath or two, and then repeat that. Slow, deep breath, long, soft exhale, 1 or 2 normal breaths. Do 4 of those in a row. It takes about a minute and a half. Do it 4 times a day. That's what the 4x4 means. And what we have found is that actually keeps people breathing more deeply, more consciously aware of how am I breathing. If people would just stop and notice how are they breathing, they may find that they're breathing pretty shallowly. And so this can be a way to really help them. I also have guided meditations in the audio library and on my website for stress relief and healing trauma if trauma has been an issue. In fact, the Veterans Administration offers veterans the guided imagery on my website for stress relief, for healing trauma, injuries, and other health issues.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, you've given us a ton of great information. What are some main practices we can use to avoid becoming anxious in our own lives, as we all do?
That's a great question, Robin. Practice calming your body-mind, focusing on slow, deep breathing. Use some soothing music, gentle stretching, guided imagery. Imagine being in a peaceful, calm surrounding. Maybe some aromatherapy. Smelling fragrances like lavender or citrus or rose can be very calming. Mm-hmm. Cool water on your face. Get a washcloth of cool water and just wipe off your face. Bring the temp down a little bit. Or sip on some fresh, cool water. Mindfulness. Get out of your head. Notice when you're in your head ruminating about something and stop it. Also, focus on gratitude, on all the good in your day and your life. When you're worried about something, okay, shift to the possible solutions and create a plan to address your concerns. If it's something you don't have control over, stop.
Right. And, it's good to worry to some extent as far as making sure that things that could go wrong don't go wrong, but you certainly never want to overdo it.
Right. Be productive about your worry.
Right. Well, Jane, thank you so much for joining us. It's always so informative. And I love that we talk about these real world issues that so many of us deal with on a daily, weekly, all the time basis, like anxiety and panic attacks. And I love that you always offer great solutions for these things as well.
Oh, thank you.
Right. And definitely go check out imagesofwellness.com. There is a wealth of information and meditations and practices and all sorts of great things over there. So go check it out.
99.3 The Vine.